welcoming to the show another very creative and passionate crew. We got the Cineducks indie film crew. We got Rocky Banks. Welcome. Shatorey. And T.J. Webb. Alrighty. All hailing from the Texas City and Houston areas. So, once again, how did this passionate film crew come together at the film school you guys were at?
So we all have this one professor. Her name is Molly Vernon, and she's worked on many of films before and notable people too. And she came in as an adjunct professor at our college, and she started teaching the intro to cinema or intro to film class that we have here.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. And then she told us about this sort of film group she wanted to start called the Cineducks, where we would get together, pitch ideas, work on scripts and stuff like that. And I actually just came in at the start of the filming for Men in Cars, but Shatorey and Rocky were there from the jump. So I'll let you guys talk more about it.
Okay, sweet. TJ.
Okay, so I was in from the beginning, but I was in production for another play, and so some of my time was cut a little bit short. Shatorey, however, we're going to keep throwing it to somebody else. We'll throw it to Shatorey because
pass the mic.
Meeting. From the beginning, I was just there peripherally when I could. But so Shatorey, the earlier meetings.
So honestly, Rocky, truthfully, I really think that you were there for majority of the beginning, but the process was kind of, I think I came in maybe a meeting or two after we had like really kicked it off. But the process was really an open environment from the jump. It was really just about, people who were passionate about film, people who wanted to be a part of a career, like pursue a career in film, and doing things that we wouldn't really get the chance to do if we weren't, specifically majoring in film or being a part of, or like not being able to talk to people who were putting on films all the time. So Molly has been a really, really great help with this, with the Cineducks, because she does this. Like, this is her life. This is Molly. So it's
so cool. They incorporate the duck mascot, and then again, just with this whole thing, it crosses over into all the other departments. There's no office politics. There's no, you're not welcome, even if this isn't your major. It's all very empowering is basically what it is.
Yeah. Well, actually, one of the things that's going on with this is we've got a lot of theater majors as opposed to film majors, and we don't have anything in our curriculum that deals with making of films. And so we opened it up to everybody as a non-academic thing, just people who passion for film.
It's an elective.
Yeah, it's not even an elective. It's more of a group that meets on campus with the sanction of the college and the using some of the facilities and the COM name, the College of the Mainland name.
That's so wonderful. And see, as a contrast, you go to UTA and either say Austin or Arlington, which is outside Dallas, they don't have it together. They got just people just feuding with other departments, it's like, can you vote my advisor for the year, that kind of thing. And so that's so cool to know that you guys, again, it's just like, you can incorporate all these elements and just remind people is like, this has a purpose in anyone's life. Like, you do improv, you're very good at making decisions on the fly. You do any speech class that empowers how you act, let alone how you speak in personal life. It's good to know that this is all, everyone's picking each other's brain and realizing this can be used for anything.
Yeah, this group is definitely made up of people who are not just specifically in the theater major as well, because one of the people that we have working with us, his name is Sebastian. He was our light technician. I mean, wow, sound tech.
Everyone gets to do one of the same different, job titles at one point or another, but at least, like you say, you find out what you're better at. Is like, okay, I prefer, being in front of a recorded video versus on stage in the open.
That's awesome.
For men in cars,
What's that?
He's not in the program at all.
Right.
So he got the opportunity to be a part of Cineducks because of Molly's film appreciation class. So it's definitely like a very collaborative effort for all of the students here at COM, not necessarily anybody that's specifically in the theater program or anything like that.
And the direction we're heading was the people involved are going to be allowed to try different aspects of the filmmaking. So if you were working camera before, you're going to actually get to learn sound. You'll get to learn directing and things like that. So we'll get a wide variety rather than just jumping into the film business and saying, okay, I'm a sound technician and that's what I do.
Right. It's like, I'm one and done. It's like, well, I can try out this and that without feeling the pressure, build up. It's like, okay, so like you say, you've had time to experiment. And like you say,
we'll get more.
And a bit more. And the Sebastian guy is, from what you're telling me, he's welcome into your group. There's no, well, you're not part of this section, so you don't get an invite. It's like, yeah, you can, you can hang out.
Yeah, and especially with that too, just speak on the inclusivity of the Cineducks. Like I said, at first I wasn't part of the group. Our first AD, Megan, she actually reached out to me and was like, hey, we need someone to come do grip for this film. Are you free these days? Because we had worked together with Molly on Scream Legacy. So I was like, yeah, I'm free these days. So I came out and helped. And then they were like, you're going to be at the next meeting, right? Because you're part now. And it was just that simple, to where we would put out in our whole theater major group board on Facebook. Even after we finished filming, she was like, hey, we're still looking for people to come out and play with the Cineducks. We have this meeting at this time. Come, bring your ideas, bring the creativity. It doesn't matter if you think that you won't be good at this or not. Just come join us, just come feel what it's like to work with people who have passion for this business.
That's sweet. So then it became just a matter, is like, if you just think you want to just do more than just network, just come on out here,
Exactly.
If you're having self-doubt, come out here anyway.
Dude, it kind of follows our whole mindset, because, some of us come into the theater as either performance-based or tech-based. People used to see it as one or the other. And I used to think of it that way too. I came in as a performance-based major, and then they're like, hey, you want to try this out? And then I found myself doing technician stuff and more acting stuff. And that's what I like about the theater and about filmmaking, because you don't have to just wear one hat. You can be like, okay, I was an actor, so I know what it's like on that side. And now I'm helping out with technician stuff. So I'm learning behind the scenes things, audio things, camera things, learning new terms, for example.
The apple crate.
and of course, today's meet is really kind of interesting because of the fact that we're in production for Men in Cars. And so we're moving on to the next project. We've got a couple that we're trying to line up, but one of them that we're starting to write. And so now starting to spitball. We're across each other in a table, and we're saying, hey, what this idea? Everybody's in with their own ideas. And then we just start bouncing back and forth. So as a group, we kind of work together as an ensemble, I guess, an ensemble writing company. And that's kind of neat too, because we get to get in on the ground floor and we understand the makings of a film before it even hits pre-production.
That's wonderful. Yeah. So you get to outline it, you get to kick each other's ideas around, own your ideas, and then say, maybe we could leave this for next time. Maybe we could split this up. And so how did you even, when you promoted your films and your shorts and even your fan films, how did you make sure that, you're screening everyone, making sure they're all on the same page? Because I don't know if you guys notice, sometimes, you can put up something on a casting site and it's still not meeting the criteria from what you're looking for. And fan films are hard to describe to people because you're like, we're doing an unofficial, fan fiction in visual form, It's
Exactly.
Shatorey, you did casting for this, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so why don't you speak to that?
The casting process was this whole thing was my first time doing this. First time being costume designer, first time being casting director.
Nice.
So it was a process that Molly definitely had to help me and Travion, who is the assistant casting director, through. It was like we were up to like 11 o'clock trying to figure out the casting call, but the matter of it was putting out descriptions of the characters so people could understand who it was that they would be auditioning for, and making sure that everybody knew that this was a nonprofit. We can't pay you. Like there's nothing from this besides a good time.
We'll buy you a coffee and egg tortilla. Yeah, it's
good time, something to eat, and a great networking process, because some of the people that Molly has brought onto this this short film are like, it's ridiculous that we're able to work with them for our first time, like some professionals that have been working for a long time. So I'm very grateful for the opportunity to have that networking process as well. So I think that and the experience and the IMDb credit was enough for some people to come in and play with us on this project. So
1,000%. Plus just one title, and what do you know? You had 3 to 5 job titles on that one job. That's just so inspiring in and of itself. And like you say, if people can watch your film somewhere, I see so many people, they upload their shorts and then they're so mad that no one's rated it or anything. I'm like, because you only showed it like to one person. Show it to a bunch of people. Do some screening parties. Do a few more festivals. Retitle it, re-edit it, and then submit it again. It's just. And
our director Molly Vernon, we keep throwing that name out there because she really is a legit name, and we got to continue to credit her. She the last film that she did was called Lillian, and it has won several film festivals, and that's one of the things that she's really adamant about us doing, is trying to get this thing out there, make sure that people get an opportunity to see our hard work in action, and of course that puts pressure because you have to do quality work or it does not matter.
Right. It's so hard to even kind of remind people to just pace themselves. So what inspirational words do you have just to kind of share with others, like other than that, if it is too easy, then it probably is, like if someone's late to set, keep filming something else instead of just waiting on them all day, especially if they're a no-show,
Yeah. So with that, especially, I don't think I've experienced it yet in my career field, but I know with the weather, there were times when the clouds would be there and it would be perfect for the shot, and then, oh great, we got about a mile of no clouds, so it's just sun beaming down. Okay, let's rework this shot. Let's audition a new one. Or, hey, we need sun for this scene, and it happens to be similar to this one, so we don't have to change too much. Okay, switch the talent out real quick. Like, let's use what we have to our advantage, because no wasted time, or I guess I should say, there is no time that can be wasted if you're working with the right people who can see the positive aspect of everything, because they can turn stuff like that into something great. Because a lot of people could probably be like, well, okay, let's just wait for the clouds to come back, I guess. Who knows when that could be.
No, that's very cool. So you, instead of just, we need to rewrite, it's like, well, let's change the establishing shot. Is like you say, it's sunny versus cloudy versus this and that. And so how do you even kind of work in kind of like what camera A versus B is going to do versus coverage of this versus rehearsal? And sometimes we get the rehearsal on tape. What are some other kind of just key things you always do when just kind of setting the mood for the day?
We came in pretty heavily storyboarded.
Nice.
For the entire film. We had a nice shot chart up, and we knew what our day-to-days would be. Our AD was really fast at making sure that we were in the loop. We had her call times, she had camera times, she had her prop time, she had them all set up for us, and we had our day of day. And then, as things progressed during the day, we had shots of opportunity, which is one of the things that Molly pushes pretty hard, is be ready and aware for shots of opportunity. And we had some of those that are fantastic. In fact, they may or may not make the film.
You might use them in your next project.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm saying they'll be in them, but whether or not they will be one of those moments that are like, oh my God, that's my favorite part of the whole show. The whole film is not even the stuff that was scripted, but the stuff that was a shot of opportunity.
Perfect. So essentially you got all this, painting tools, and sometimes you might add that on later on for the portrait that you're composing versus, like you say, it's just stuff that just can't be recreated any other way, but you open up the opportunity, so it's a pleasant invite.
Yeah. So Sam, Man Cars is kind of a little bit of a thriller, a suspense type film, but we were working with a chicken, and and at some point the chicken climbed up on the basket out of the place. And he became kind of the star of the show for a while. We even shot from his basket, his view during the course of it, because chicken was so charismatic. Not somebody's favorite part of this film about taking away from the rest of the story.
That's great. And getting an animal to act, is no easy feat. So you might as well get all the coverage you can of it that can be used as, close-ups and what have you. So that's cool that you took every opportunity from that instead of, oh, the animal's, misbehaving. We got to get the trainer, to get it to wherever. And it's just so wild how you got to remind people about this. It's like, just shoot all kinds of material.
Mm-hmm.
What was the main interest in doing a mystery film from the get-go? Were you guys already big on that genre, or were you just like, I just got that kind of story in me?
Shatorey, you were deep into that, right? You're deep into the thriller, the violence movies, and the blood more, right? Rocky
is being funny right now because that's my favorite genre of film. But at the beginning of the process, we had a lot of ideas, a whole lot of ideas, and it got to the point where we were kind of stuck with like multiple different ideas and not able to pick one. And Molly is a sucker for horror. Like, that is her favorite.
Nice.
So she went home, wrote a 4-page script, and like one night came back and was like, look at this script. And the script was originally just supposed to be like an example of what a script looks like compared to like another script that's already been produced. And we got to reading it, and we really like sat down with the script, and we were like, I think this is the one that we want to produce. So honestly, it was a 4-page script she wrote in a night that technically wasn't even supposed to be done. But it's grown into so much. So
natural evolution of an idea instead of just pick and choose, not sure what it could be, carefree of the result. That's cool that it just came to you all, and you're just like, it doesn't matter if it's been done or not. It's resonating with me. I don't know why, but we can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, just why do you think you just all just so naturally just love being around each other? Is it just the creativity? It's just a giant box you never want to leave or escape. It's just such a pleasant escape.
Well, I think we're all theater kids, and theater kids have kind of a knack of finding ways to work together at their craft, being creative as well as technically sound, and you have to like the people you work with, or it's just not worth it. Be it in theater,
right,
or be it in that. I think what's having our transition. TJ is really good about making friends and keeping friends and working. I don't want to say the networking side, but the side that that includes making mashed.
Oh, that's
TJ,
wonderful.
Yeah, so it's also funny because usually when you talk about you just love it here, huh? I just graduated in December and I started in 2017. So,
Congratulations.
4 years, but over that time, many people would see it as he just didn't care, he took so long to graduate. But I saw the positive of it being, well, the longer I'm here, I can make the best of this. So I start going for any opportunity I can. I try to be nice to everyone because you never know what it's going to get you someday. Just that, hey, how you doing? And a smile could later turn into, hey, I remember that guy. He was really nice to me. Let's see if he wants to do this commercial or something like that.
He was more than nice. Everyone wanted to be like him. Everyone wanted to give off that aura of, hey, engaging energy.
Exactly.
TJ, did you take a math class at Com?
Yeah.
Just went 2017 to 2022 as 4 years, but
why do you think
5 years?
Math is not my strong suit.
It isn't for anyone, but yeah, I mean, that's
call you out.
Well, and that's cool because I knew many people in film and theater, and by the time they graduated, they weren't proud of any of the work that they had spent extra time making in college. They didn't have any real demo reels. They didn't have any contacts. They had even already changed their major like 3 different times. So that's cool that you kind of just spaced it out and chose the spots to kind of target and just let your brain grow. That's cool. Instead of let's rush it and let's not make any use of my education or my time or my money or anything. Let's not even make friends. How dare I don't need friends. Yes, you do.
Yeah. And also, it gave me the opportunity to learn many things because, if I graduated when I was supposed to, I probably wouldn't have met Molly because she came in at, I think, the tail end of my second year at Com. So if I would have graduated on time, I wouldn't have gotten the chance to meet Molly, work with Molly, learn filmmaking, learn how to make films and all these new terms that go with it. For example, gaffers, I want to say spike tape, but I'm thinking of something.
Gaffing tape. I don't know. Yeah.
But it just gave me the opportunity to learn so many new things that I probably wouldn't have learned if I had went off to like a major university, because here we get to work more hands-on since it's a smaller group of people and they are eager to teach you new things too. And if you come to them and ask them a question, they'll literally teach you the whole handbook on it and you'll leave there with the biggest smile on your face and just knowing something new.
No, that's very fascinating because then it's like it's not, well, I know this, I know how to shake a hand, but I don't know what the handshake even means. I don't know. I know this book. I know the notes. I don't really know what it incorporates all together. And so that's cool. That is like you're getting all this insight, and it all flows together, as opposed to, well, I talk about it with this crowd, or I know it, but I don't know it anymore, or I used it once upon a time, but it's now a matter of it all works out one way or the other. it all flows. That's great.
Well, there are a lot of us, and specifically the first AC and myself. We're really hand-on people, and through cameras and things like that, and we paid attention. We took notes. We listened not once but twice. We checked YouTube videos, things like that. And until we actually had that camera in our hand, we still were, I don't know about this. And I think the comfort is doing as opposed to just textbook learning.
That's so true. I see so many who want to argue over what, Canon or Nikon equipment to get instead of are they comfortable with anything, let alone what they have right now. So it's so cool to know is like, natural evolution. Just until you're sure, don't do anything. Don't press any buttons, don't schedule anything until you've actually, gone around a block and like tested out the camera and you've seen the playback and you know what you like or don't like. That's cool. That is like you had this discretion at play.
Just learning the menu system on the FX9. That's what we shot on. Shot on the Sony FX. The menu was a little bit daunting.
Yeah, it totally can be. I see so many others who want to even argue like what equipment will be outdated within a year, and it's like, well, you don't know, because it's just like fashion. There can be a different trend or whatever. It can be affordable. It can just be better for you because it's accessible, and then you slowly level up, and so that's cool that you're just going about it and you're just like, this is what we're going to use. It's consistent and everything, and I feel safe with it. But altogether, would you say this just was before you guys made this part of your career field? Did you just feel like you not only grew as like personally and mentally, but also just you just were able to just absorb just more than just any other kind of major would have probably given you?
I think it's more about opportunity. I think that's the best part. A lot of the other, and I'm not slamming the four a little larger situation as 4-year or a 2-year hasn't afforded us wouldn't have afforded us the same opportunities as we have in this. And so we're a smaller college. It's growing very, very quickly. And the opportunities are coming because we're intimate.
No, that's great. It's not a matter of, I graduated this, I get this. It's now more a matter of I'm expanding anytime, anywhere, and at this point you can fly, you can you can soar, and it's all, everything just factors in one way or the other.
You're up in Dallas, and you're in the Austin area of this, very well. The film department at is pretty large, but I also know it's also very difficult to be a player in, and so you can get up there and maybe not get opportunities, and not even pick who you want to work with. That's half the battle right there.
Half the battle. I see other cities not wanting to take in other people from other cities, so it gets a little political there for whatever reason, and then it's a matter of, like you say, just finding the right people to talk to. There's a lot of scam artists I've encountered in Dallas, and there's a lot of people in Austin who expect like best of the best Hollywood perfection. So then it's a matter of how do you, like you say, it's just weigh the options and the time spent talking to various individuals. And it seems like this one has just been just so rewarding as a whole for everyone involved, because now it's a matter of I can get along anytime, anywhere with anyone.
We have pretty strong mentors in this, not just Molly, but a lot of professionals that she's worked with. She was able to call upon to come in and instruct in alongside of us. Even though by name or by name we're a student film and student-backed program, we have professionals that are working alongside of us, and that makes a big difference.
Absolutely. I've seen many colleges that after a while, because of the turnout, everyone would not allow them to post on certain casting sites, or people would start blacklisting them because the professors hadn't done a good job of telling, the student filmmakers, we expect this degree of, what we're teaching you. So that's cool to know that it became a matter of, hey, this is all a creative environment and everyone expects the best from each other. The professionals who are doing this as a freebie are going to give it your all. They're going to be on their good behavior. And it's cool that you guys as the students were just like, we're all up to the task because we're all comfortable. We haven't been rushed out the door, told to do this, given all these unreasonable deadlines. They've given you all this degree of organization and like you say, mentorship, to where it's all second nature to you guys now.
Yeah, and we have people, of course, Shatorey had a full load because she actually graduated in 2 years, and she's moving on. She's transferring to another college, but along with this, she had she starred in one of the theater productions and was of course recognized. But along those lines, now as we talked about earlier, she had 4 or 5 jobs in this one film alone.
Yeah. Oh my, yeah. And so
it was really good. It was a really good time. It was an experience for me. Especially for some reason this semester I decided to take on a lot all at one time. But though it was stressful, it's been so rewarding at the end of it, because the opportunity of being a part of the Cineducks is one that I will never regret. Regardless of how stressed I was about everything else, I do not regret being a part of the Cineducks. When I joined originally, I was in the middle of a show called Godspell, but then I also worked like every night that I didn't have a show, and then I had homework and everything to do, and it was a big task at first, but then slowly things started to dwindle. I started to like I got out of Godspell, and I was like, okay, I can put more time into Cineducks, and the experience of being with these people, of working with Liz T, who is my costume mentor, the things that I learned from her, as well as the people who works on set, like Gemini and everyone else, that like the environment was so welcoming. And when I was there, it was very easy for me to not concentrate on whatever stress I had going on previously.
So you would say it all incorporated all together, and even though you knew there was a lot on your plate, it was never overwhelming or about to sink into a depressive hole to where you're just like, what am I doing?
I think it did get overwhelming at some point, but it was never to the point where I was ready to quit.
A breaking point where you're just like, this is too much trouble. It was still, you knew the high expectations, so you're just like, okay, gonna go to sleep, and by 7 a.m, there's gonna be a challenge for me, and more like a dozen challenges, and I know how I'm going to manage this, and if I don't, eventually I will have a solution that will come around.
Yeah, it was a learning experience for me, because I don't think ever in my career am I ever gonna not be as busy as I was this semester. So it was a way for me to, well, hopefully I won't be not as busy. Let's fingers crossed. But it was a way for me to realize what I needed to do, the steps that I needed to take to be successful with everything on my plate.
But this is great to know, because there's so many who is like, I had like 2 pals who were best friends on like one college film, and then by the end of it, they didn't want to talk to each other. They weren't on the same page. They weren't, one of them was just not good at time management, and the other just was basically just going on, Coca-Cola and donuts per day, just not getting the time, sleep, and half-assing it. And so then it just got to where it's like they were both bad-mouthing each other while knowing full well everyone, including us, were all friends with them, and it's just like, and they weren't friends, and it's like, okay, well, it just wasn't meant to be. So that's so cool that you guys, especially with your position, Shatorey, you're realizing, okay, this is never not going to be busy, but it's in the description. I'm signing the paper. It's a multiple position. There's going to be a lot of tasks to do, and I just kind of, again, you knew how to pace yourself and just say, okay, I'm going to give this much time to each of these.
Cam, like you were saying about having that friend of yours that the friends you knew that weren't the same. You, Jade, weren't you? You were doing Godspell at the time. You were both home base for this. Jada Wise did what was her job? She was
manager. She was a production manager.
Production manager. and together.
I think in this process, for us, it was the opposite. It was like us, instead of us like not wanting to talk to each other, we bonded over the fact that we were losing sleep. Like it was like, wait, what did you have to eat today? Oh, I think I had orange, and she'd be like, oh, I had a fuel, and then that's how the conversation would go. It was constantly us, but we're also roommates, so that's a whole nother part to it.
That's great. So then. Yeah. Instead of all the cynical energy and all this displaced energy, it's all, again, it's a bond. You're just like, I relate to you. Yes, we're all going to get maybe 3-5 hours sleep, but we knew this was a big task ahead of time. And at the same time, even though we're still losing a lot of sleep, we're not cranky. We're not treating each other like shit. We all embrace each other.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. And I think even though me and Jada were roommates, I don't think that necessarily had anything to do with how we interacted with other people, because it was the same way with...
It could have backfired. I know you too personally, therefore I don't get along with you, or don't like you micromanaging me. It's not working. You all understood each other ahead of time.
It was the same way with TJ. It was the same way with Megan and everybody like that. Like every conversation we had was like, oh yeah, you're not getting enough sleep, but you're doing good. Like, good job.
Well, and sometimes that's all it takes. It's like, hey, you're doing a good job. You're doing wonderful things here.
Yeah.
We honor your presence instead of, man, can't wait for this shit to be done. Instead of, oh, why do I do this to myself? There's no negative venting to where it just kills the mood in the room.
It was very important.
Exactly.
For I think all of us was for us to be very uplifted and positive in this process, because it would have been very easy for all of us to just complain the entire time. Especially with the people on set. I had the luxury of being at home baking day, so I was in first day. Rocky and TJ, they have a whole other story about that because they were in the heat majority of the day. So
those first 2 days, oh my gosh, we had the heat. And Cam, you being a Texas person, you know about those.
Correct. It's just unpredictable weather trends. Caterpillars.
Oh my gosh.
They're if you go in a forest scene, you got all the chiggers and the spiders and other varmints who aren't meant to be there. And like you say, the PA position is doing more than just getting everyone coffee. You're just you're making sure that sound is on and giving sunscreen to everybody. Yeah, it's.
But we were begging that the clouds stayed consistent, but we also had a forecast of rain for both those days initially, and that was our window to get the primary shooting done, and we got lucky. The gods held the rain off, kept the clouds for most of the day, but it was hot. It was absolutely hot.
Absolutely, but at least that's so great that you guys were able to kind of just remind each other, hey, this isn't going to be an easy day. This is not a walk in the park. This is how much of the shoot day we're going to have, 6 hours versus 12 hours. And having to remind people is it's an all day thing. Better get comfortable now versus later. And it's never going to be 100% comfortable. It's never going to be, it's going to be cramped. It's going to be, like you say, it's going to be aggravatingly hot. It's overwhelming. And at the same time, you're organizing the overwhelming section of it. So it's cool to know that it's you were gauging how to play your cards in this.
Yeah, and I think what really helps with that too is that anybody else could look at it negatively, but I think that so much of us that were part of this process have so much love for this genre and this field that we saw it as, it's not work if it's something you'll love. And especially that's so true with Jace, who was part of the camera team. He loves films. It's actually an understatement. So when you would see him looking at the film, looking at the scenes we just shot and working with the camera, he looked so at home that we could have worked 23 hours straight and Jace probably would have still had a smile on his face as long as he was behind that camera just working on shots.
That's neat. because you see so many people, they just want to go to trivia sites and, like I say, just remember just outrageous stuff about it. Is like, he's the kind of guy, he's gonna listen to a making of, but he's not just taking note, he's actually taking away the feel, the tone, the mentality of it all, and like you say, realizing it is fun in strides, it is fun in sections, and it is something I do want to do, I do embrace, instead of, well, it's all one or the other, and if I don't like one thing, I quit. It's
exactly.
And Jace O'Brien is his name. Jace, being the film buff that he is, I mean, he was our first seed. 3 shows, including directing a world premiere show of his own during this process, and he would still go home and we're renting this film. Okay, well, he'd go home and watch that film instead of his 3 hours of sleep that he needed. He'd go watch that film and nap and go to his class, and he's one of those people that is just to do anything for the film, just gonna keep going until it breaks down. And of course, that's the quality of youth. It's nice to have those genes where you survive. But we want to get it done.
So he's able to do all these power naps and just divide his time, and that's good to know too, because there's many who can do that, and there's many who can't. Like I, for instance, at my day job, I see 2 managers who do that. One of them, the assistant manager, clearly isn't good at any kind of power nap. He needs his full 6 hours. The other one, he's used to it. We're often getting calls in the middle of the night from him, and like, okay, so he's been pacing himself while looking at us on his computer screens where we are. We know he's watching, so he's trying to micromanage in the nicest way where it doesn't eat up his personal life, and at the same time it serves all the supervisors well. So it's like, that's cool. But like you say, who's built for it, and that's cool that he's actually valuing you guys' opinion as opposed to you're giving him an inlet. And see, that's what you need too. There's nothing worse than when you're just giving suggestions and you're like, why am I giving you these suggestions? You're never going to make time for these, So that's cool. Like, he's embracing it and valuing and showing, is like, hey, no, I'm going to take you up on that. I legit want to get this, and you guys are feeding off of that too. What'd you think, man? That movie I suggested, or that new equipment that I heard is a good discount on, or that new formula that I use that you might actually excel at using. So that's cool, as like all these tips and tricks, again, just like the whole education and the atmosphere of what you guys have built together is like, it all blends, it all factors in, it all matters. It's great. And altogether, if you had to sum this up in one word, this whole experience, what would, I'll let each of you just speak on it. Rocky, what's the one word that sums up this whole crew?
Fulfilling. It was moments where you've always been interested in film. You've always wanted to work with these people. You always wanted to see how the sausage is made. And, right. And we got to do all of that, so it was very fulfilling.
Nice. Shatorey, if you had just one adjective to describe this process.
Jeez, that's so hard.
Just anyone that you're just comfortable using besides invaluable.
I think rewarding is the one.
There you go. See, rewarding. You're remembering this. You have no ill will against this. There's no just atrocious memories where you're like, man, that was wasted time. It's all rewarding. Perfect.
Yeah, definitely. Beautiful. Sums it up. You just said it for me. That was great.
TJ, if there's just one word that will always just be the first thing that pops in your head, which one is that one?
Hungry. Because we hit this project full force with everything we got, to the point we were like, okay, we're telling a story here, and we're going to do what we need to do to make sure that story gets told. For example, on our final day of shooting, we were filming up in the Woodlands, and we actually got relocated from our original spot, and we found the secondary location at this nearby park, which proved to be way better for some of us, to the point where Molly did a very quick rewrite on the script about how it would work, and it played out so well, and the scenery just worked so well for that final shot that it was a blessing in disguise.
This is wonderful. There's no dent in the highway for you guys. There's no barrier to leap over. There's no area which just you guys are like, will not cross. This is a mountain you just want to keep walking, climbing up. This whole journey is what it sounds like. Has just been just endless results, and all of it just wonderful to soak up. So
I think one of the difficult things for us is I think we're going to come off this experience trying to figure out how we match this in the future, because it really kind of in so many
that's a good factor, because then you're going to meet all these different personas, all these different settings, and some of it's, again, like you say, can clog up, and then no one wants to be the plumber. No one wants to be the guy to clean up the mess. So that's cool that you're just, whatever it is, you bring all the shades of just positivity and professionalism. And I think to answer your question, it's basically, it's whatever it is, even if it's not the right matching location, color, setting, feeling, basically you'll make it matter, because you just got nothing but love for this. So then, who can match the love if everyone loves it? If everyone is all just dialed in, just loving the process, this is a boat that will continue to float, even if there's a bunch of ruptures in it, So this has been very eye-opening, and this is just, again, I'm just endlessly positive, you guys. I'm just happy for you, because I can't tell how many people have had just sob stories to just kind of share, and just basically just nothing but endless, like a love-hate relationship. So this is cool to know that it's all kind of just consistently, it gels. It really does. So I'm happy for you all.
Thank you.
Probably the most positive interview I've had. No, really, because there's difficulty to this, but there's also, again, just the passion just fuels it all. And it's never, I'm sorry, I'm sounding redundant because I'm using some of the same adjectives, but I really am happy for you guys. This is great. So.
Cam, and one other thing I want to say about the crew that we with in this particular film, I think, to a man, and some people wanted to be involved with this, but again, it's got so much going on in their lives, schedules of the year for a lot of the students, things like. I think to a man, they probably all be getting just cream of the we were handles because we say good things about this film. I think all the way across the board, you still would have gotten that as well.
1,000%, because even with inevitable interruptions or delays or last-minute cancellations, the sooner you see a warning, the better. And that's cool that, again, just any inevitable mishap was corrected pretty quickly and adaptable, as opposed to, well, what do we do with this? This is this is messy. This is unorganized now. And it was all a matter of, hey, let's brace for impact. And now there is no impact. It's now, again, you're going to fly like Superman. You're going to just get through this all without it being sheer torture. And this is great to know that, again, just all of these happy feelings are just in every step of the process, behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, just it's all factored in. And like you say, you have a wonderful platform to step off of with all these other inspiring people to where you're all ready to basically, I guess you say, just be leaders in this, instead of, one person runs the show and you're one of the many key people who dial in. Now it's all a matter of just like, nothing is too big for me to handle. I guess that's what I'm getting from all three of you. It's just, it's all, it all works because, again, there's no ill will towards it. There's nothing that made you guys just say, this is too much trouble. What was I thinking? Because there's just so much, just great suggestions between you all. I mean, I can't think of any other group that's just been just so happy and proud of every opportunity. I really haven't. It's just, so this is great.
I think it was also a matter of each person on this team was able to embrace the struggles, embrace the mistakes, or the problem slip-ups, I guess you could say, that would happen. So if anything, like the whole, like us getting moved from a certain location, if we were to have been stuck on that the entire time, we would have never made our day, and the movie would have never been, because there would have been no way for us to get everybody in together when we needed them to be there at the same time.
Well, exactly, because you see, all mistakes are inevitable, but when it gets down to, oh man, but that person didn't care or own up to that mistake, or that mistake screwed everything, we're never getting that talent back. That's cool that it was able to be done in a way to where you knew how to interject. It's like, okay, we need to do this correction in addition to filming this new scene, or clean this up, or reequate what we got to do, instead of, oh, we've screwed the pooch. This is all gone. Never getting all that time and money and experience back. It's all, you've been doing it long enough to where you know how to make it flow. You know how to make it, just like you say, just keep going, instead of, I gotta bail out now. This is
yeah. Especially because there's always those. For example, for that final day of shooting, since we were shooting in the Woodlands, we live like down south, to where some of us had to wake up at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. just to get ready for the drive up there. And, as soon as that alarm goes off and you see it says 3 a.m., that's where that tiny little voice comes from, and it says, do I really want to do this for a living? Is it really worth it waking up this early?
No, that's so true. Prior to me getting mobile security, I was very critical of what time I had, and then I really found out is like, you got to be comfortable doing whatever it is you've just committed to doing. So that's, and film is definitely a great experience. It's like, do I have it in me, or do I just gotta say, hey man, I know we shook on it the other day, but can't do this, instead of, better to say that now as opposed to 5 months down the road when everything is locked in, supposedly. So that's cool that you guys were able to just like assess all these different, again, like you say, it's one giant equation. And it's kind of like when you were talking math class earlier. How many of you have been in a class where it's like you still got points for doing parts of the equation, even though you didn't get the right answer to it? So it's like that matters just as much as, the type of motor oil you put in your car matters just as much as whether the machinery itself is actually still, working or about to grind to a halt. So that's cool that, again, you are able to look at all these parts of one giant factor, even if it doesn't factor together. You're just like, hey, but I love what I do. So there is all something worthwhile to it, instead of, it's just one giant cluster. And
we're all ready to kind of start jumping into the next project. So we're starting to, we're excited about, to the point where we're already starting to write the next show, but we're also, we're going to be involved with a show, working title called Death of a Star. That's going to be one of our director, Molly Vernon's previous students. He's a University of London professor, and he's written a play, and we'll maybe get to shoot at NASA. So we're getting opportunities to see things and connections that we would not have normally made.
and you're welcome for all these challenges, because basically, to be working with an international crew, and then, like I say, at a giant, well-respected, NASA is like,
Yeah.
every year, I don't know about you guys, they do all these nonprofit things where they allow you to shoot. They even say they give out awards for like best scientific short, and they allow you to use footage of their giant archive. It's for non-commercial gain, and so that's cool. That next thing you know, they might even ask you, hey, can you shoot an actual commercial that'll be played for the next, decade or so at our various museums, or...
Hey, I'll strap on that spacesuit real quick. All they gotta do is say the word.
And Cam, you're not down in Houston, but Houston also has a lot of outreach to people in the area. And the Center of Houston, which is the Johnson Space Center,
right,
has got, you've got tours and things like that, and things that so you go in there, and they've got films involved, and they've got hands-on play things for the kids and even adults alike. And so, maybe one day they'll say we've got this exhibit that we want you to shoot for us, and you're going to be by hundreds of thousands of people that come through there or whatever. That would be pretty cool too.
There you go. Rocky can direct it. Shatorey will organize it, maybe star in it, and TJ might be one of the interactive tour guides, in addition to also being camera B, or C, but no, that like you say, yeah, it is wild having to actually remind people, is like, you can be part of the live experience, in addition to just the theater or the visual. I'm the YouTube generation, I'm the big screen revolution. Is like, no, you're part of everything now.
We'll return after these messages.
Hello and welcome to Culture Shocked, the pop culture podcast brought to you by 4 aging millennials and our outdated opinions. Join us every Tuesday as we discuss movies, TV, games, and even music, new and old.
Dude, what do you think you're doing?
Are you seriously trying to record a promo without us right now?
Well, yeah.
Dude, you can't just do the promo by yourself. Who's gonna listen to that?
Yeah, and you probably haven't even told them that we're a pop culture podcast where we always agree on everything. For instance, the Sam Raimi trilogy, easily being the best of the Spider-Man movies.
No. But I think we can all agree that Jaws is a classical masterpiece.
Nope, don't like that. But we do all agree that the sequel trilogy of Star Wars is the best in the Skywalker saga, right, guys?
That comment is so ridiculous. I don't even know where to
Anyways, that'll do it from all of us here at Culture Shock. Thanks for listening.
Hey, it's Brent Pope, the host of Breakfast with Brent Pope. You've seen me on some of your favorite TV shows saying things like, "Give it up, Jimmy. You got to sink this putt to win." On Breakfast with Brent Pope, I sit down with guests from the entertainment world, and we do it all over breakfast. Or should I say Brentfast? Every week on Brentfast, you get inside Hollywood info and tips, great breakfast recs and foodie debates. Most of all, you get the most delightful 30 minutes of your week. So dig in. It's Brentfast time. Listen at Brentfast.com, Apple Podcasts, or wherever fine podcasts are found.
Do you ever find yourself thinking about who would win in a fight between Goku and Superman? Hi, I'm James Gabsy, and on the Who Would Win show, me and my co-host Ray ignore anything important happening in the outside world and debate fictional battles between characters from comics, movies, and video games.
We got a new show every week, and almost always am I the winner.
Yeah, not true, Ray.
In the past, we've discussed such matches as Captain America versus Darth Vader, Solid Snake versus the Iron Giant, classic matchups like RoboCop versus Terminator, and even the Muppets versus Sesame Street.
That one was crazy. So if you're a fan of geek culture and love a spirited debate, check out the Who Would Win show wherever you get your podcasts, or check us out at whowouldwinshow.com.
We let things pile up in the DVR. We add them to our queues. We wait for the DVDs and Blu-rays. We time shift. The Time Shifters Podcast. Sci-fi, horror, fantasy, superheroes, comedy, action, film, television, maybe some not-so-current events. Find us on iTunes or at timeshifterspodcast.com.
Cool thing about Blind Knowledge is we are in multiple countries. We are worldwide all across the globe. We are in the US, we are in the UK, we are in Canada, Germany, India, Japan. We're in Australia, y'all. BlindKnowledge.com. Now back to the feature presentation.
are doing a second part to the wonderful original Cineducks chat. Just going inside Texas City's MVPs of film school. So here with me once again, Jada Wise.
Hello.
Rocky Banks.
Hola.
T.J. Webb.
What up?
And introducing Megan Martin.
Hello.
Hello. Okay,
As a nosy neighbor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Won't you be my neighbor? So we had some wonderful chats on just stability, learning from each other, confidence, raising everyone's awareness, positivity levels, how no task was impossible for anyone with the right crowd. And Megan was going to chime in. So how did you come to be part of this lovely group?
It was actually quite interesting. I had Molly as one of my elective classes for my first semester at College of the Mainland.
Oh, really?
From there, we kind of just clicked. And then I became more interested in everything that she was about. So we talked some more, and she taught me some things. And then next thing I know, she's talking about wanting to start a film group. And so I said, well, I'll be the first one to jump on. And so for the next semester, we kind of went back and forth on if we were going to be able to do it or not, which was kind of cool. And then we decided, screw it, we're going to do it. Let's go. So we did. We just started contacting everyone and be like, hey, we're starting a film group. It's going to be called the Cineducks, and everybody should join, and let's go make movies.
Very cool.
Quick and easy.
And you just found this, just everyone just very reliable, just group of mentors.
Oh, God, yes. They were amazing. Molly, obviously, was the one who pulled them all in. There's a handful of people that I can guarantee will be people I will call upon for advice later on in life as well. A couple of them I'm working with this summer still.
Okay, well, very cool. And you just, like the other members, were just like, hey, well, whatever crew position I'm on, I'm dangerous. I got this.
I feel like that's kind of where we all were, because I didn't even choose where I wanted to be. It was just kind of where Molly saw us, as well as what we were interested in, I think.
So it piqued a lot of your interests, including ones that you never knew you had. So therefore, you just wanted to just flesh them out even more and see why you were drawn to it, I guess you could say.
Oh, absolutely. I know, me personally, I started as a first AD on the set of the first movie we made as a group. But I want to learn everything. I want to learn the camera. I want to learn the sound, everything that's involved, editing. The only thing I don't want to do is write the script.
That's Rocky's job. He's a great storyteller.
Exactly.
Oh.
So, TJ, again, you mentioned some great stories last time on how, just again, you just were meeting all these just wonderful crew members and finally figuring out better stuff that you wanted to do with your life. Can you imagine your life without this group at this point? You know,
honestly, I can't say I could. Like, without the Cineducks, I'd probably fall back into that old groove of, okay, I'm going to try something, and then nothing ever happens. So it's just a cycle of work, school, and then repeat. But with the Cineducks, I had already had like a tiny interest in filmmaking, but working with them over these past few months and on the Men in Cars film really opened my eyes to more of the filmmaking business and everything that goes into it, from the costuming, the arts department, props, all of that, getting to work with different actors, some who it was their probably first time doing a film, or some who it was, oh, we just got done doing a film last week. Now we got one next week after we finish here. And then we got one, blah, 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 blah. So without the Cineducks, no, I don't. My life would definitely be different than it is. So I'm glad that I met the Cineducks and got to be part of it.
Cool, very cool. Jada, do you see yourself even mentoring the next wave, the next group that joins this club?
As much as I can, because I will be leaving and transferring to a university soon. So right now.
So they gotta convince you to come back, basically.
Yeah, no, definitely. I told them I would do everything I can, like from afar. So like casting, for example, for one show may be done while I'm at another university, and that's okay. Because I mean, I love this group. I've been a part of this group since, well, it first started. And I just kind of just jumped in. So didn't expect to have like all these big jobs to do. I just expected to, maybe act every now and then because that's my thing. But,
Very cool. Rocky, what do you see yourself directing actually in the future? I know you're up for so many different tasks, but what is at the top of your bucket list where you're just like, this is coming out of me one way or the other? This is going to be made.
I think the way this business works is it's always about what's next. What is the next project? And right now we've begun a next project. Since the last time we talked, we actually have two projects in the works. One is called What I Wouldn't Do For You, which is going to be directed by Jace. And then the other one is called Vanity, written by a good friend of mine, Zion Lurson, who
I'm loving their nicknames.
Yeah. And we're really excited about it. And those we're going to do over the summer, over the next couple of months. And so we've already thrown ourselves in there. In fact, Jason is going to direct What I Would For You. I will production match for him, and he's going to quid pro quo for me and do it for Vanity. But we've got Jada, who is going to walk us through all of that. So we talk about Jada mentoring. She's mentoring the old people too, the people that have been here.
The MVPs.
That's what, and I think that's what we do. We just help each other out, and we all have qualities that are going to help us move forward. And we're just going to keep training each other. And really, the most important thing is the next thing.
Absolutely.
Okay, wonderful. So Megan, what has been your favorite crew position before we kind of go back to some group questions?
It's a really good question. I have yet to do camera. I will be doing camera for both of those productions that Rocky was talking about. I'll be director of photography, and honestly, I feel like that's going to be my favorite. Otherwise, first assistant director was a great job. The ability to use my skills in organization and get a little loud from time to time, put people in their place was a little interesting, but it was fun. But I do think the director of photography will be the best job for me because I'll be able to use my artistic views instead of just paperwork.
We see what you see.
Exactly.
And altogether, you guys have all brought up a large group of those that inspire you, those that open up your mind to endless possibilities. Do you see this group not only continuing its mentoring, but also putting on more plays and possibly helping coordinate or open up new film festivals, potentially?
I think that would be a fantastic idea. And honestly, with the way that we work together, I think anything we come up with, we can make happen.
2023, 24, possibly.
Oh, yeah. Why not?
It's good to know. Everyone has their priorities. So,
I will mention that this group is a group of no limits. So we don't have no limits in this group. So if we say we're going to do something, it's going to happen. Some way or another.
We'll make it.
Very stellar. what sites do you guys recommend for various cast and crew calls? Because it seems like every site is varying. Every one of them sometimes, has loading errors or gets reformatted or only allows certain submissions depending on the year. What sites do you guys utilize to complement your skills?
For casting, what we actually used a lot was Facebook, and that's kind of what we stuck to.
Okay, cool. Instead of
We
Actors
did.
Access or Backstage or whatever.
Oh yeah, and there's tons and tons of groups that you can join and be a part of. I know that one of the people that were doing our casting last time, Trayvon, he got in contact with like a Houston casting calls group on Facebook and a few others, and actually got permission to load him up on there. And it obviously helped with each of our individual pages, especially with Molly's herself, because she posted it, and I mean, people were coming out of the woodwork.
Hey, very cool. And there's always going to be some snobbery, and you guys have been very positive. How do you set reminders to remind everyone, hey, no snobs allowed, and it's in big fat red letters?
I feel like all it takes is the tone of voice and the look.
Okay, perfect. I thought this was going to get even more complex, even better. You got, again, that's what I like about you guys. You guys are just straightforward, just no bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, we really don't have time for that sort of thing, just because of the fact that, all of this volunteer time, we're dealing with people who are professionals in the business who are volunteering their time for us. So we have to look at this at every moment that we have as a gift, because we just don't have enough time for that. So we cannot, we can't deal with any of the bull,
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think because you guys have made that awareness so clear, you've been able to cut through a lot of the bullies and everything and attract a lot of the ones who are willing to volunteer and realize, okay, you guys are serious, I trust you.
Yeah, we've actually had a couple instances where people were out of line, and basically you just don't work anymore. We just, again, we don't have time for that. So we would rather cut the fat early and work with people who are willing to cooperate and enjoy it and help us all enjoy it and come up with a good product.
If 2 hours in and they're still arguing with you, it's time to leave the set instead of, well, let's make this work, for 12 more hours. No,
Absolutely.
It's not going to work. So how would you describe your planning process? When you get into pre-production, do you just outline a lot of stuff on like an Excel sheet, or do you just go more for just like a PowerPoint presentation, or just everyone gets a moment to speak and everyone takes notes?
Nobody else is going to answer. Okay.
I was going to say Excel.
Okay, so Jada, use Excel. Rocky, how do you plan?
I'm an old person, so I have a pen and paper, and I got notes laying all over the place.
Okay, awesome.
Bringing them together.
You make all the professors happy. Megan, what do you utilize?
I also utilize pen and paper. I have sticky notes out the wazoo. Also, Excel spreadsheets.
So perfect. So you've never done what half the businesses in the world, like Don professionally, do, where they fall asleep while everyone else is lecturing and then say what 500 people have already said.
Oh no, we have fun. We have lots of fun.
You're alert. You're not wanting to leave this meeting before it begins. That's great. So,
absolutely.
What are some other places that you recommend for people to network at, especially in this area?
I mean, networking.
We're trying to get as much inspiring stuff as we can,
Networking is about getting your name out, obviously, and the way that I've done it is I've attached myself to anyone who is willing to give their time to me, and by doing so, I've been able to prove what I can do and what I'm capable of, and from there, they just kind of, hey, meet my friend. hey, meet my friend. And I mean, that's all you can really do. Between taking classes, I know like Julie Newland will be teaching at U of H, and so that's the only reason why I might go to U of H here soon. I'm not sure yet. And you find people that you like, you learn from them, you meet people through them, and you just start working.
Nice, very nice. So, TJ, have you tried encouraging any other friends to join this club?
Yeah, so I actually had a friend a couple weeks ago because we were posting about minting cards and all the behind the scenes shots, and he messaged me. He was like, "Hey, like, how do I get a part of this? Do I need to write a script or anything, or what should I do?" And I told him, I was like, "No, just show up to our next meeting. I'll give you Molly's number. Just shoot her a text, be like, hey, I'm interested in joining the Cineducks. I really have a passion for filmmaking. Want to be part of this magic." That's really all it is. You show up. We basically bring you into our arms because we're one big family, and then by the next meeting, we'll have you helping us out already. What was it? Our newest member, Becca de San Andres, she is a transfer student from San Jac, and by her first meeting, she's new. We're all doing the introductions. By next meeting, we're already giving her a job on the new productions and all that. She's shooting out ideas. It's really just a come sit, you're a part of the family type of thing.
Wonderful. Do you ever use elevator pitches to, for your next promotions, projects you really want to see and test the water and see if they could actually come to fruition?
Well, I think one of the beautiful things about this particular group is we don't have to sell it. It's not necessarily a thing that we're trying to market into a commercial business. So selling to the producers has been much more of a Molly thing. Molly has a lot of people that she's worked with as producers, but Cineducks has been the ultimate body work of the producers. So we just kind of decide we're going to do it, and we go do it. If we need money, then we try and do a little bit of an extra sell. But at this point, it's just a bunch of people getting together making film.
Okay, excellent. And well, once again, there's different ways to organize and different ways to remind everyone, hey, you're part of this clan, you're part of this group. It's a worthwhile endeavor. What are other ways that you think you can just spread that positive energy into just any encounter, any kind of other area of expertise?
I feel like it's all about storytelling. If somebody's willing to sit down and tell a story, something happens.
The dedication.
That's all it really takes.
Abounds. Gotcha.
Mm.
Rocky and Jada, how many pals have you convinced to join the crew, or at least take a semester at the college?
Actually none so far, and I'm surprised I haven't gotten a chance to really talk to people about it. They've seen me in it, but I haven't met too many people who are very passionate about film. So
all right, well, hopefully we'll change that.
I know, right?
That's the idea.
We're working on it.
Rocky, are you mentoring any others to join the group soon?
Not specifically this group. I'm kind of what I consider a comm thumper. Think Bible thumper. I'm actually that person out there beating the street, saying, "Hey, we got a lot of great things going on over at College of the Mainland, including Cineducks. This is one more thing that we offer." But I'm wishing back. My daughter went to one of the local high schools. She just graduated, and probably a good third of that class I've talked to, and some I've helped convince actually come to College of the Mainland, and some of them hopefully starting next semester we're going to start seeing in Cineducks.
Excellent. And what film equipment have you guys found is just so reliable, especially for the kind of projects you're doing right now?
That's a really good question.
Yeah, the kit that we used in the seemed to be the FX9, and it has 4K, or we can expand it to a 6K. So it really is a good all-purpose camera. It's lightweight.
What camera was it again? You broke up a bit.
This is the FX9.
FX9. Okay.
9. Yes.
9.
Niner.
We also, I think, used the Venice for a short time, but for these other projects we're going to be using a simple DLSR that Jace has, I believe.
Okay, excellent.
And one of the projects that Molly has attached a few of us to is we spoke about this the last time we got together, and it's one of her previous students. He's a professor down at out at University of London. His name is Brendan Wade. There's a screenplay called The Star. It's written by somebody in Asia. I'm not sure exactly who that writer was, but we've been in contact with him, and he's working on a Panavision grant. So we're looking equipment, and so it's really early in the words leave me. But yeah, Panavision is one of the things that we're looking at for one of these upcoming projects this summer.
Excellent. Sounds like a great plan. Well, this has been a delight having all of you on here, and again, just the never-ending, just delightful energy that just surrounds you all. And I hope this keeps launching, and the club keeps getting bigger and just all the more inspiring. So
here's hoping.
Thank you all for this quick prompt chat. I will keep updating you on when the interview gets posted.
Awesome. Thanks for having us.
Sounds good.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for making this trip. Sorry.
If anyone reaches out and has any questions, I feel like they should feel free to contact us.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Do you want to say the name of the page or the email or anything before we go?
I believe it's just Cineducks, CINEDUCKS @gmail.com.
Follow us on the web on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The podcast is available on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Apple, and anywhere else podcasts are available. Feel free to review our show and leave comments on any of those sites. Thanks a million for listening.
It's a jacked up